It's Brady! What's up? Ladies and gentlemen, wait for it. We're back. We are back. It is a Tuesday. It is January 27th on the Eastern Coast, Eastern Standard Time, 7:02 p.m. And it is time for, and you know what that means, of course. It's time for another episode of Primetime, the Primetime podcast, episode number 63. Today is kind of crazy as it is. I hate to call it a filler episode, but it kind of is. Well, it's a filler episode because it's got more of fill in it, so there's that. But it is kind of filler. I didn't want to talk too much Super Bowl stuff until we get closer to the deadline, till we get into Super Bowl week. I kind of thought today could be just a little fun little extravaganza into some of the other headlines, and then get a little speculative as I dip my big ol', I guess not big old toe because it's like a pinky toe, but like my big toe and then my pinky toe back into the NBA. I'll be talking a little bit of Knicks to round us out, but I gotta talk some offensive coordinator Joe Brady getting promoted. Bill Belichick, not first ballot Hall of Famer. Do I have beef with someone who's currently in the sports world? Yes, I do. I gotta talk about them, and then also one offense coordinator promoted and another fired. So we're going to get into all that. We're going to talk a little bit about those headlines, but it is kind of, I just dropped the remote. It doesn't even control anything. I was just flickering around with it. There's a lot to get into today on Primetime. And of course, we got our main man, Jay, in the house. Jay saying, what time is it? It's prime time. You're damn right it is. Gonna get into a couple of these. I might not go the full hour depending how much I have to say. Might only just get a little bit of it in. But I'm excited to get rolling with it as per usual. So, of course, a big headline today out of Buffalo. We'll start there and get into it. Massive headline coming out of Buffalo. The Bills are promoting offensive coordinator Joe Brady. And I'm just now realizing this. I don't know if you guys remember. Well, you guys might. Dude Perfect. He kind of reminds me of one of the dude. I don't know all their names. What are their names? Might be Garrett. The ginger that's on. It kind of looks a little bit like an older version of him. Let me see if I could pull it up here. Hang on. Give me a second. Kind of reminds me of this guy. Reminds me of this guy right here. This guy, the second, well, I guess the guy in the middle kind of looks like him. The guy we got middle, I guess second in on the left. Backwards hat that's not the twins. That guy. And it's, I don't know. I get like it. I feel like it's similar. Boom. 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 It looks like an older version of him. It looks like an older version for like 20 years from in the future. Regardless, Joe Brady is the offense coordinator, now is the head coach in Buffalo. A lot to take in with that. Starting with the very obvious, many Bills fans are not happy about this. It feels very lateral for a lot of Bills fans, and I can understand that. But I'm going to make the case that this is a better move than I think a lot of people will think. Number one, it's certainly not the worst head coaching hire. It's definitely not that. Secondly, I think this decision was definitely made after the Rams game, seeing how Shula's defense kind of struggled and how Schlehiss's offense was maybe a little bit more dependent on Stafford than we would have thought. Or maybe the guys just didn't interview well. I can understand them not getting Clint Kubiak. I can understand the frustration in not wanting to interview Clint Kubiak. I can understand the frustration that the Bills didn't interview Clint Kubiak. That being said, there was a very real chance you lost Joe Brady to another organization. Because Arizona, Cleveland, and Las Vegas were still all looking for head coaches, and you had lost an offensive coordinator previously. And I think that is why the Bills made this move. It's not super sexy. It's not the best coach you could have gotten in the offseason. But you were going to lose Joe Brady. You were more than likely to than not, because I think one of the other options would have offered him a head coach position. I think one of them would have offered him a position. Whether that's Arizona, whether that's Cleveland, whether that's Las Vegas. I think one of those teams would have offered him a position, and the Bills would be out another great coordinator. And I think it was Pagula, I mean, it was either Pagula or Bean talking about this and making his point that a lot of offensive coordinators like Brady have been promoted outside organizations, and then the organization they left struggled. So I can see their logic. I can see them understanding, okay, that kind of makes sense. We get it. At the same time, I also feel that there has to be more here. I still feel like if you're going to bring in Joe Brady, then that means you have to have a hyper-aggressive offseason. You should be getting a lot of big-time playmakers. You should be looking and maybe considering an A.J. Brown trade. You should be considering wide receivers in free agency. Maybe a Mike Evans to bring in as an experienced receiver to help out some of the younger guys who have struggled. I think you need to be aggressive in going out and honestly, I'll be real. You need to go out there, go sign as many, in my opinion, offensive players. You need to sign a lot of offensive players. Get some guys who Josh Allen can throw the ball to, like a Mike Evans. See if you could trade for an A.J. Brown. Get some leadership in that locker room. Those would be two wide receivers that have won Super Bowls. And despite, say, like A.J. being in a diva category, why not go out and get receivers to help Josh Allen? Why not add to that collection? I just think at the end of the day, to not consider giving some sort of promotion to Joe Brady, I think it needed to happen. You needed to get Joe Brady some sort of way to keep him in. Because I think there was a very good chance that some organization hires him, and now not only you're down a coach, you're down a coordinator. Keep the very good coordinator, let him be your head coach, and bring in either another guy from a different team, or let Brady choose within the organization who he would want as his OC and go from there. But if you were going to fire McDermott, there was a very real chance you were going to lose Joe Brady too. Is it the best case situation? Maybe not. But there was a very real chance Joe Brady was going to be out in Buffalo. And if you think he's a good coordinator and want to keep him, this may have been the only way to do so. Jay also in chat is saying a little known fact, the Patriots were going to draft Joe Brady, but the guy on the phone was hard of hearing and thought he said Tom, hence Tom Brady being drafted. Sources, trust and me. That sounds accurate. I definitely remember hearing that in the... You know where else I heard that? I heard that the New York Jets were actually going to try to draft Tom Brady after New England had. They were going to try to get him in the later rounds, but they couldn't do it because of this little miscommunication mishap. And then the Jets would have had Tom Brady, and then the Patriots would have had Joe Brady. It's kind of wild. It's a lot of... I heard that from Mrs. Information. I heard it from them. They're very well versed in the sports world. They pretty much know everything there is to know about everything, including miscommunication such as that. And to speak on behalf of, I guess, Bills fans who are frustrated, I do get it. The idea is you were going to get a better coach, but I got to be honest. I don't know who you would have gotten that you could definitively say is better than Sean McDermott, because John Harbaugh was off the board. Mike Tomlin was going to probably go into some sort of TV role or step away. And apparently now so is McDermott. So I really don't know who you would have wanted. I guess, as I mentioned before, Kubiak makes a lot of sense. And I'm a guy who really does like Kubiak. At the same time, if you bring in Kubiak and then lose both your head coach and your OC, I don't know necessarily who Kubiak brings in to his fold side of the game, so to speak. I'm unsure. I'm unsure where that would go. But listen, it could be worse. It really could be worse. Like, the Bills could have Mike McCarthy. They could. They could have ended up with Mike McCarthy. They could have ended up in with a lot of other coaches that may have been worse. They wanted Brady as their guy. And remember, a lot of the times when they do these interviews with coordinators, they do those interviews first. They do those interviews usually first or second. Like, if you're the offense coordinator or defense coordinator team, you're usually one of the first people to interview because you're right there in house and it's really easy to do. In 1 week, the Bills felt, yeah, Joe Brady was the best option. Joe Brady must resonate the most with this team. If you trust the ownership, which is tough considering the Bills' history, then it would be the right move. Because again, those are the guys they interview first. Anybody will tell you when you're coaching, you're interviewing the coordinators first. They wanted to keep Joe Brady. This is how they may have had to do it. Because I wouldn't have doubted Arizona or Cleveland trying to go for him. I wouldn't have doubted Vegas either. And they wanted to keep him in-house. So they made him head coach. Not the sexiest move, but it's something that they felt very strongly about, and they chose to make. And again, we'll see if it pans out for them in the future. There's no way to know right now. There's no way to know how well it'll pan out. I still expect this Bills team to win at minimum 10 games and be in the playoffs. They still have Josh Allen. They still have a very good offensive line. They have James Cook. They're going to be fine. It's just a question of, is Cook going to be better situationally in the playoffs? Not Cook. Is Joe Brady going to be better situationally in the playoffs as opposed to Sean McDermott? Like, either whether that could be managing the clock, deciding when they need to go for certain things. And I think this is very important for Joe, too. Being the head coach, you saw the issue in the playoff game against Denver. Joe Brady has to know when to kind of reel Josh Allen in a little bit. Because when Josh Allen started pressing against Denver, when he started forcing either throws or plays in certain moments, that's where the Bills were losing the game. When Josh Allen was trying to press when he did not need to. And that's where they lost. And I think if you're Joe Brady, you just need to look at Josh Allen and say, hey, reel it in. There's no reason to press right here. We're fine. We're doing fine. That's where Joe needs to be able to step in with his quarterback and help him understand that as great as you are, we can't have you pressing here. There's no reason to do that. Not against a good defense. Let's take it into half. Let's figure something out. Let's slow it down. Let's not do anything heinous. That's something that Joe's going to have to preach to his quarterback. And that can be difficult when you're doing it with a quarterback that's already established, especially for a guy who's like a completely new offensive guy in there, who's completely new to the locker room. But with Joe, I think it'll be very reasonable because he's been there. He's been in the locker room for a while now. He understands the situations. We'll see if it works out in the end. I believe they'll still very much be in the playoffs. We'll have to wait until like January to really know. Like 12 months from now, we'll really know if this was the right decision to make or not. Jay in the chat saying, misinformation where I got all my COVID facts from. She was a great teacher. I loved misinformation. She was so much. She would always bake cookies. She'd always be getting like those pizza parties where like the slice is like this big. It's this big a slice. Those really tiny little thin slices of pizza. Unbelievable. A, unbelievable, and B, ridiculous. And third, a little asinine. Speaking of asinine, I got to get into this one. I got to move into what's next. According to reports, I want to make sure I get my source right. Hold on. Because I saw this on Bleacher Report, and I know how I feel about Bleacher Report. I do believe that they are legit results, though. Yeah. Sources told ESPN, currently reporting on this is writing about this is Don Van Naden Jr. and Seth Wickersham. Bill Belichick. What is it? I mean, he's won 6 with New England, but I'm pretty sure he's won 8 in total. He's 8 times won the Super Bowl. That's just Bill Belichick. As not as a head coach, obviously, but like, no. Why am I not? I believe it was 8 times, right? Am I crazy? It had to have been 8 because it was with the Giants for 2. He was with the Giants at least for one of them. Yep, 2 times assistant coach. Super Bowl 21 and Super Bowl 25. Like, I mean, folks, this is not like are we being for real right now? Like, Belichick has been the guy. He won 2 Super Bowls with the Giants and as assistant coach, and 6 with the New England Patriots. I just wanted to clarify that. Let me start with this. The reason why, according to reports, is that voters specifically, were heavily influenced by Spygate and by Deflategate. I'm going to tell you right now, no, they weren't. They just don't like him. And I'll tell you why they weren't influenced by it. Because in a few years from now, when we're having the Hall of Fame votes for Tom Brady's making it first ballot, and no one's going to bat an eye because no duh. But we're going to say Bill Belichick shouldn't be a first ballot Hall of Famer? A guy who has won 6 Super Bowls as a head coach, 8 in total as a coach in the NFL. And we're going to sit here and be like, no, I don't think so. Not first ballot. What? It's so petty. Everything about that decision is unbelievably petty. If you're on it because he's cheating, and you have like, oh man, there's this certain higher level of standard we have to be up to. Okay, higher standard for the Hall of Fame. Okay, then remove O.J. Simpson. You'd never do it. No one would do it. They'd be like, but 2,000 yards, O.J. was so good. Okay, fine. You want murder? You want a murderer in the Hall of Fame? That's fine. But you have such a big problem with a cheater? But like a cheater who won 6 Super Bowls. In fact, a lot of people forget. People want to talk about both of those games. And as much as Deflategate had such an impact on everything, and it did, I'm not going to act like I was pissed about him cheating. I was. But in retrospect, look at the Deflategate one. Deflategate one's a great example. Go back and look at Deflategate. How many times did they run the ball on the Colts? And not only did they run the ball and completely thrash them that way, it was 40-7. It was 45-7. They brainwashed the Colts. The game was over. They dominated on the ground. What do we mean the ball was lighter? Sure. We talk again, like a Spygate's another one. But my point is this. Dude, you just don't like him. And you're going to sit here? Like, if you're going to tell me Belichick doesn't get in because of cheating as a first ballot Hall of Famer, and if you don't give that same treatment to Brady, then we all know that there was clearly just media problems here. Like, are you real? I thought it was, wow, they really were impacted by how bad he's been at UNC, or they really didn't like his young girlfriend. That's what I thought. Those were the first 2 things I thought. I genuinely did not think that they were going to take the cheating ones so hard from what is now 10 years ago and almost 17 years ago. And I say this as a Patriots hate watcher. As you all know, I am an avid Patriots hate watcher. I never stopped hate watching them when they started losing. I still hate watched them since Brady left. I hate watched them since I probably started watching football. And I will still say it is asinine that the Hall of Fame committee, that the Hall of Fame voting committee, it is asinine that the Hall of Fame voting committee decided, yeah, Bill Belichick, over 300 wins, over 30 playoff wins. Yeah, no. Nope, wait a year. Really? That's so ridiculous. It's on the same level of like Barry Bonds not being in. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? You're really going to say like it mattered that much? It was going to matter that much that somehow he still wouldn't be a Hall of Fame. Like, come on. Get over it. If you're going to make that kind of decision to tell me that the head coach with, again, it's weird that I need to repeat it, 6 Super Bowl wins as a head coach, and you're going to make him wait a year just because, oh man, he cheated. Guys, he won 6 Super Bowls. It's not like it's an argument. He's still getting in regardless to just get off the voting committee. If you're going to make a decision like that, get off the voting committee and just get removed. Because what are we doing? The whole point is it's not meant to be personal bias. You're meant to be objective about it. And by doing that, you lack complete objectivity in everything that what he's done in his football career. Like, you're going to tell me you're going to feel that way about... You think anybody felt that way about Ray Lewis? You think anybody really honestly felt that way about Ray Lewis when he was trying to get in? Like, brother... Put the man in. Jay saying Hall of Fame, not Hall of Likability. That's the point. You're not going to... Yeah, exactly, Jay. Exactly. Ray Lewis got in and was confused. A lot of stuff was going on. And we're going to see him and be like, yeah, it's cool, bro. It's cool. No. What do we get? Like, what's next? Oh, Von Miller. Yeah, he had one season where he, like, smoked weed and got suspended. Yeah, he's not getting in first ballot. Are we nuts? Are we insane? Do we not know what we're talking about anymore in the NFL? Do we have no idea? Like, come on. Suck it up, Buttercup. That's ridiculous. What, like, D-Hop. Oh, D-Hop should have no chance of getting into the Hall of Fame. Sorry, you were using performance-enhancing drugs. Dude, no. Dude, with all these players have done some dumb stuff. All of it. It is not a question of whether or not you like the guy. It is a question of, does he, based on what he has done through his entire career, deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? And when you win 6 Super Bowls as a head coach, it is undeniable that you should be in the Hall of Fame. It's not even close. It's not even a debate. And I can't believe it has to be one because we've heard about this news now. Crazy. Although, to be fair, when I make my awards show this coming Thursday, it'll make it easier to, it'll be easier to do because I know Belichick won't be in it. And I predict it'll be easier for me to predict it, at least. And also, if you want to be here for that award show, make sure you're subscribed and also drop a like on the stream. You can, see me again. Everyone else can see me. Jay was also saying, left the Jets with a note on the Duncan napkin. Dude is a legend. He wasn't voted in. One, he hated talking to media. 2, the way he left the Pats. This is why players/coaches and fans should vote, never vote. Agreed. Well, that's tough. I think at a certain point you have to be able to, but we need to look at who you're voting in, because if you're clearly just showing absolute bias, as a fan would, I'm glad fans don't vote for Hall of Fame, but I know fans vote for Pro Bowl, and that seems completely rigged. How do you think Shador gets in if he doesn't? And listen, but again, when you talk about the media and when you talk about the Patriots, the way he left, that again, that has nothing to do with the resume. That has nothing to do with his overall complete body of work, right? How are you going to look at something and be like, there's a complete body of work there? Come on. You really going to sit here and act how did he not make the playoffs with washed Cam Newton? Was he supposed to? Was that the plan? Cam Newton missed the playoffs multiple times when he was fully healthy. What are we talking about? Oh, man, how did he not continue dominating with Mac Jones? Because Mac Jones is limited. Everybody knew that. Even the 49ers knew that. Why do you think he was the backup? Why didn't they bench him when Brock Purdy came back? Because they know he's limited. Belichick's not Belichick never claimed to be an offensive whisperer either. He was known for his defensive side of the ball. Like, really? You're going to tell me that Malcolm Butler makes that interception in the Super Bowl without incredible coaching? That's the whole point of that play. The whole point of the end of Super Bowl 49 is because Malcolm Butler made an incredible play in one-on-one drills that they coached in practice. He got burnt on multiple times. Come on! What are we doing? Well, I'd give the fans 5%, players and coaches 95. Right. Yeah, I would say. That's the thing. I think some of them, that's the thing, though. Like, there are either, like, beat writers. I think part of it is beat writers, and I think a few players and fans. Like, because, like, the way it works, there's, like, 50 voters. There's 50. There's 50 voters. You need 40 of their votes. So you need to get 80%, which is high, which is fairly a high standard, which I don't hate. I don't mind that. I think that's good that there's a high standard. But at the same time, how anybody remotely is going to have this, oh, well, I'm just going to vote against, but like, I think players could still be subjected to that. Like, I still think, like, if you were, like, someone who played for, like, I don't know, the Jets, or, like, was a writer for the Jets, and you're in the voting party, like, brother, like, you have to, like, abstain. Like, sorry, vote doesn't count. Like, get someone, like, I think you should have, like, a rotation of, like, 75 voters, and then 50 of them will vote, and then if you're deemed biased towards it in some way, then you should be removed from voting. Like, that's how they should do it, I think. But they would get, like, that many, and I understand there's inherent bias in that, too, which kind of sucks. Like, there's even more potential bias in something like that. But to have the same, like, kind of 50 media voters do this, it's clear that, like, some players should clearly be in, and the fact that some aren't is ridiculous. Also, Jason Ray Curith got a better chance of getting in before Billy Boy. That's mean, man. Why? Oh my God! Come on, you really gonna tell me? You really gonna tell me this, man? That's wild, man. Oh my God. How you gonna say How you gonna say Ray Curith? Come on. No, they'll be like, we like him. He was very cool. He didn't cheat. He never cheated. That's the important thing. Anyway, and also keep this in mind. I don't feel for Patriots fans like, oh, I feel so bad. Belichick's not in. No, like, I don't like the guy. I'm very clear being an avid Patriots hate watcher. But I'm annoyed that when we vote for people who are actually good at what they do and people who are getting awarded and not getting awarded, that's ridiculous. Like, that's kind of that's asinine to me. I'm sorry. Another thing, speaking of asinine, after, like, I saw this, so this is going to be like a little side topic, because when I saw this, now, you may not know what I'm talking about. So, I'm going to give you some context. So, after the Seattle Seahawks defeated the LA Rams, I think it was after I did the show yesterday. I probably was on my phone for a little bit after, like, late at night, and I found a reel of Emmanuel Acho. Don't know who Emmanuel Acho is. He's like an ESPN cop. He's been with, like, sports announcers. We know some of the stuff. I believe he was the guy that was doing stuff with Joy Taylor. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there were, like, weird things going on there. He now basically does his talk shows with, like, LaShawn McCoy. Basically, I'm pretty sure based off the fact that they're former Eagles. I don't know the show. I saw a clip. That's all I saw, and I hated it. I hated everything about what he said. The whole point is the whole point of it, I'm not going to repeat it bar for bar, but I'll basically summarize. Emmanuel Acho is dissing the Rams defense because he's saying, oh my gosh, how could you let Sam Darnold have a Tom Brady-like performance? Basically insinuating that someone like Sam Darnold should never have a Tom Brady-like performance. Despite the fact that he was a number 3 overall pick in the draft, despite the fact being that he's won back-to-back seasons with 14 games. That was basically it. Emmanuel Acho just wanted to crap all over the Rams defense just so he could take a shot at Sam Darnold by saying, Sam Darnold, you made him look like he was Tom Brady. Guys, did you know that, do you know what Drew Lock did against the Colts a couple years ago? It happens. These quarterbacks sometimes can have crazy performances because they're actually good. It is one of the hardest positions to play. It is you have to study a lot to be able to do it. You have to have an insane amount of mental fortitude, and you have to be especially to be a likable quarterback, you have to be incredibly reasonable. You have to be able to take the blame when it's not your fault. You have to be able to give credit when you did all the work. This is what I'm talking about. Sam Darnold's actually played well. And Emmanuel Acho, no disrespect, but the only reason you're able to discredit Sam Darnold is because Sam Darnold has done something that is worth praise. I don't think Acho has done anything that's worth praise, so it's literally impossible to discredit him. It's to the point where that kind of opinion isn't even invalid. It's just a joke when you say it. The reason LaShawn McCoy had a similar opinion, he's not willing to say Sam Darnold's great, and that's fine. But here's the thing. Shady's opinion has actual merit because he was actually good when he was playing. He at least has that going for him. Whereas Acho never did anything in his career. I was talking about this on Instagram. I commented this. And it was basically man, that's me saying, what Acho's saying about Darnold would be if I said, man, really? You let Emmanuel Acho get the sack? Except the funniest part about that is that Acho never did that in the NFL. Being a linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles, never got a sack. So this idea is ludicrous. It's a ludicrous discussion for a former player turned commentator that had nothing going for him. It's just an insane thing that the logic is to just discredit Sam Darnold, who played very, very well. And the best analysis you can give me is they just played zone the whole time and rushed 4. A bunch of teams do that, and there are so many quarterbacks that genuinely can't figure it out. Did you watch Geno Smith this year? Did you watch Pro Bowler Shedeur Sanders? Did you watch CJ Stroud? But anything to not give him credit. It's so insane to me. It's so insane how there are, and he's not the only one. I have this same old problem with Dan Orlovsky. Dan Orlovsky I have the same take with because this is the man who literally ran out the back of the end zone, and we want to hear what you have to say about sports? Are you kidding me? You made one of the most unathletic plays in the history of the NFL, and all of a sudden we want to hear your take on athletes in the NFL? No, we don't. Not a single person does. So it's ridiculous, is what it is. It's ridiculous. And there's always one of these guys. There's always another one too. Again, every single time, then I'm really? That's he's doing commentary on sports? Okay. The most mediocre guys. At least Sherman, he might criticize, but he'll also give credit. I think Shady will also criticize and give credit. A lot of the former players, even Ryan Clark, for as much as I think his takes are awful, he'll give credit in some areas too. But it's this bunk guy who never did anything, who wants to discredit any player that does do something. That's the face I give him when I'm watching him. That's the face. The face he's giving in this picture right now is the exact face I get when I have to listen to the garbage he's spewing. It's wild to me. It is wild to me that this is a thing. It shouldn't be a thing, and yet it is. It is rampant in sports media of people giving their opinion that got no more ball knowledge than I do. What is he doing there? The only reason he's doing there is because he was drafted. He was drafted, played 2 years, and dipped out. His career was shorter than the average NFL career. Average NFL career is like 3 years. His was 2. You are bringing down the average. That's nuts. And you are somehow compensated in sports. Okay. Stick to what you know and hang out with Joy. Stick to what you know, hang out with Joy Taylor. That's all I got. That's what it is. I'm sorry. Stick to what you know, boss. Stick to what you know. Makes no sense whatsoever. Marcus is in the chat saying, don't make fun of Sam's sneeze. I gotta give that one. Applause. But I mean, like, it's crazy. It was crazy to hear him talk about Sam that way. That's such disrespect for a guy who, again, and I say this, if you can't be given credit for something at all, then don't go around discrediting people who actually have done something. Doesn't make any sense. Cut it out. Jay saying bless you just because I said achoo. Achoo! Emmanuel achoo! Oh my gosh. Jay also saying never cheated, just didn't want the kiddies. Oh my gosh. About Rake. And then always the mediocre players have something to say. It's every time, man. It's the Orlovskis and the Achus. There's probably a couple out there that I don't even... Like, there's a couple out there that I don't even know about. That's how mediocre. Like, it's ridiculous. I can't... it's just, what are we doing, folks? What are we doing? Anyway, enough sneezing. I'm not sick anymore. No more reason to sneeze. Let's get into the next thing I got on the board, which is the Denver Broncos, after losing to the Patriots in the AFC Championship game earlier today, fired their offensive coordinator, Joe Lombardi. He is now out. A lot of people are speculating the main reason is because Davis Webb, the Broncos pass game coordinator, is interested in, I mean, not that he's interested necessarily, but the Browns, really more specifically the Raiders job. I haven't heard anything out of Cleveland or Arizona, but there is some growing interest there for him to be not just the offense coordinator, but the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. And I think that is exactly the reason why Denver basically did the same thing Buffalo did. They said, hey, we want to keep you around. We think you're good. We'll move off Joe Lombardi and promote you to offensive coordinator. How does that sound? And I think we don't know if it'll work out long term, but I think the reality is this was a move you needed to make. And I like it. I like it from Denver's perspective for a couple of reasons. Number one, Denver got better as a team. You know who didn't really improve and kind of stayed the same? Bo Nix. Bo Nix was good, don't get me wrong, but he didn't get better. And that's exactly why, I like this move. I like that they're looking to make ways to get Bo Nix to be better. So they're not staying complacent with how good he is now. Because it's exactly what Houston did with CJ Stroud. They didn't really attempt to make CJ Stroud better by getting him better coaches or getting him better help on the offensive line or getting him young players to mess around with. No. They were complacent and just stayed in. CJ Stroud is good enough. And CJ Stroud has regressed. Denver's being proactive. They are not allowing anything to happen where Bo Nix will regress. They're looking to find ways to make it so Bo Nix is better, and Bo Nix takes another leap in year 3 by getting him a better help around, not just at the offensive coordinator position, but also in the pass games coordinator and getting other players in. So I think that is going to open it up for Denver. I think it, again, will open them up for more opportunity. I think it's going to be tough to see them winning, they'd have to win 15 games next year. It's unlikely they're matching that. But in a division where, again, the division, I think, again, will, especially in the AFC West, will be very much up for grabs. Will Mahomes be fully healthy to go week 1? I know he is trying, but there's no guarantees. You just never know with that stuff. With the Raiders, probably still going to be bad. But the Chargers are right there, and I would argue, they just need a healthy offensive line. I know it is a big if, and even if it's an if, it doesn't necessarily mean anything because the Chargers are just an if land. But it is what they need, and if the Chargers are fully healthy, then they could be a real legitimate threat with Justin Herbert to win the division. I mean, say what you will, Justin Herbert may struggle in the playoffs, but they have a shot to win the division in the regular season. I feel like they've always had a shot. They've just been slightly outclassed. So for Denver, I think it's a smart move. Don't remain complacent just because, we didn't have our starting quarterback. No, they didn't believe that the offense played well enough in that game, and they believe that Bo Nix did not take a big enough leap this year to have the argument to say, yeah, Lombardi, you did enough. We need to make sure Bo Nix is improving, not just slightly regressing or staying at the same level. I think it's a smart move. I think it should pay off for Denver. I think Sean Payton's being proactive in this, and I like where his head's at. And I mean, listen. I mean, sometimes I think Joe Lombardi and Sean Payton are like really close. I think Sean Payton's kind of realizing, I can't just have my buddies here. I got to have like actual people who look like they know what they're doing. Davis Webb could be promoted to OC in Denver, so we'd have to see. Got to load up the Madden 07 and know him. Dude, I think it's, what was it? I think he was drafted 2012. Acho was, and then was on the Eagles till 2013, and then was just done after that. Like, he was there 2 years. He just wasn't very good. I think Sam Acho was better, actually. There was another Acho that was just better than he was. Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy to think about. And then, damn, the Raiders could have 2 former Giants head coaches. That's what I actually realized when I was looking into this story. I was like, why did they do that? And I found out, it's likely to get Davis Webb. And then I'm like, wait, that Davis Webb? And it is that Davis Webb. And I was like, no way. Like, it was kind of like when I found out Kellen Moore was an offensive coordinator. I was like, that's nuts. Because I remember Kellen's first game he played was 2015. He wasn't starting, but they were playing the Jets. It was they had Matt Castle. Matt Castle was playing poorly pretty much the whole year, but they finally benched him against the Jets. I think he threw his first touchdown to Dez Bryant, who just looked, didn't like toast Darrelle Revis, but caught the ball on the screen and then just basically out-muscled Revis to the end zone, which was a pretty crazy game. That was also Randy Bullock was in that game. And then was it Kimbrel Tompkins in that game too? Because I remember he had like a catch towards the end as well. Crazy game. Not like really crazy because both like the Jets were fighting to like make sure they stayed in the playoffs. Cowboys just sucked, but it was closer than people thought. So, Jay saying, imagine that. Imagine Webb is like watching like Fernando Mendoza and he's like throwing a second interception. It's like, all right, I'm putting the helmet on, let's go. And Davis Webb starts trotting out. Oh my gosh, it'll be a crazy dynamic duo to see Mendoza and imagine Webb if he gets hired. And then Mark is saying the Chargers need to go to Japan and just sign sumo wrestlers to protect Herbie. I'm surprised they don't. That's what I'm saying. I feel like the NFL and getting international, there's so many interesting opportunities. Like bringing in a sumo wrestler to just play center. Like I feel like that. Like there's gotta be an opportunity there because he barely has to move, right? Like, I don't think he can play long snapper because he has to keep his head down, but I feel like you put him at, like, guard. You put 2 sumo wrestlers at guard, it's over. It's over. Like, it's done. You're not beating those guys. Oh, I gotta see. I'm surprised no one's tried it. Someone's gotta try it in the next 10 years. Honestly, let's not say next 10 years. Before I turn 30. So, like, 6 years. Could be 6 years in a few weeks, so very, very awesome. I would be sick to see that. Webb was tossing the ball with my oldest at a Giants training camp. Good dude. Oh, I thought that was setting up for a joke. No, that's awesome. That is awesome, dude. I gotta get. I'll go call Davis Webb, see if I can get him in on the podcast. I gotta start. I think starting early February, I'm gonna start sending out DMs to the players on those cards, seeing if I can get. I'm gonna try to lead with Christian Hackenberg. I think that's gonna be my first. I want to call it target, but because it feels like I'm like hunting him down. But no, I'm going to see if I can get someone like Christian Hackenberg to come in. It probably won't be live. I'll probably have to do a video for it. But I would definitely love to have Hackenberg, like Christian Hackenberg, come in and interview him. I could set up some questions, do like a little 15-20 minute interview. Would be really fun to do. Let's see here. Happened in the movie The Replacements, and it worked. Dude protected Falco like his life depended on it. I'm shocked again. Like I think because I remember. I don't know if it was recent, but I remember. Well, it definitely wasn't recent because Ziggy Ansah was from a couple years, like 2013. But they had players like come in international that had basically come over internationally and play, and I feel like there's a lot of opportunity across. Like we have it all the time in basketball. Why not try to get a little bit more football international? I think the reason why is just because I think they want to try to keep it, like, still keep football mostly states. Like, I know people want, like, an international team, but I really think it has to stay in this time zone because it's so embedded in the United States. But come on, get an international program started. Let's go. Maybe start, like, an international league. Like, I feel like that would be sick. I feel like there would be a lot of people who could buy into that very easily. I don't know. I think there's an audience for it, for sure. There's definitely an audience for it. Like if they make an international football league in the next 20 years, I feel like there'd be massive debates between, oh my gosh, the National Football League is so much better than national. It's like, no, international is so good. But yeah, I feel like it'd definitely be there. Look for players who went to Buffalo and start their players from your area. Just bring in all players who went to Buffalo. Really? That'd be kind of sick. Am I crazy? You know who I'm shocked that hasn't gone to Buffalo, and I think it will happen in the next 2 years. But Khalil Mack, I have a feeling Khalil Mack's gonna end up on the Bills just because he went to Buffalo. That's just my take. It's gonna happen at some point. I have a feeling. Mark is also asking, am I into anime? I am a little. Like, I will watch it, but I'm not. Like, I will watch anime. If somebody recommends me like an anime, I will watch it. But I usually don't seek it out. Like, I'm not. I guess if I watch an anime and then I finish it, I'm not going to go seek out the next anime. I'm usually just going to probably go back to what I end up watching. Like, I will watch anime, but I'm not, like, seeking it out, if that makes sense. Because I've watched a couple, and it's, like, I can rock with it. Like, I've watched, but it's mostly a lot of the mainstream stuff that has been recommended to me. There was one other one. Oh, gosh, I'm not going to remember it now. But I've definitely watched a couple. It's just, it's tough for me to go into the field and be like, because this is going to be good, you know? I don't know. I've got to, like, so much of it is, like, I need, like, random, like, I need, like, a random button. Like, if I were to go on, like, Crunchyroll, for example, looking for anime, I would just need, like, a randomized button. Be like, boom, okay, let's go. Watch, like, the first couple episodes and see if I like it. Then if not, just change it to something else. So Japan did an anime called Eye Shield 21. The character was based off of LaDainian Tomlinson. It tried to bring American football to Japan, which it did somewhat. Japan ended up having high school American football and a pro league. That's sick. What? Can we do more of that? Can we, like, get, like, little, like, I would be sick. Like, an anime series, but it's not, like, maybe not anime. Maybe just an animated series. But I guess it's animation. It was like an animated series where you base it off of a player and then, like, trace their roots. Like, if we had, like tracing Puka Nakua's roots, or, like, tracing back, like, I don't know, who is, like, what NFL player do I ever think of off the top of my head, fully from, like, other countries? I'm trying to think. I don't know. I know there are definitely some. I want to say, here, though. I don't want to. Let me find. Because I remember somebody had, like, a. Because, I mean, we already have so many games internationally. Why not just also get athletes? Like, yeah, Amon St. Brown is German American. So, like, white screen. Like, if we could get, like, more players from, like, different parts of the country, I feel like it'd be sick. Well, I'm gonna pitch this to Roger at our retreat this next weekend. I'm totally going on a retreat with Roger Goodell, so we can talk about it. Yeah. Jay also recommended it. Yeah, good show. Would teach rules and show highlights from football in Japan. That's awesome. I swear, this guy. Every time, man, this guy's like, okay, sidebar. One of my friends is like, dude, guys, guess what? I got work off. And I'm like, brother, I got stuff to do. And then I really just sends me an invite. Like, I'm gonna slime him. Like, that's what's gonna happen. He's gonna get slimed. I just don't know what to tell him. All right. I do have one more thing I want to get into. One big thing, because I'm starting to remember. I was watching D&E, and he's like, I was watching D&E, and I want to say it was David who mentioned that this is a perfect time to start to get back into basketball, and he is 100% right because I got my ideas. Now listen, people think I have this conception that I'm a Knicks hater. I'm not, because how could I be? I'm from New York. I am just a Knicks realist. Okay, and then they're also not my favorite team. Like, I'm still a Suns guy, and I'm upset that Booker and Booker's out right now, and then Jalen Green's out again. So I'm just not happy with Phoenix right now. This is tough. Anyway, the main thing I gotta say this about the Knicks. So this is kind of weird, right? Right now, where the Knicks stand, I believe the Knicks currently are standing in fourth in the conference. Fourth in the East behind the Pistons, Celtics, and Raptors. Right now, they're up 3 on the Kings, actually. 5:41 to go in the first. So they're up 3 on the Kings. They're able to bounce back the last couple of weeks. They dominated the Nets, and they had a very close game in Philadelphia, which is way closer than I thought it would have been. But now the question starts to remain with trade deadlines coming up. Is there something? Are the Knicks missing a piece? Are the Knicks in a position where they can win the championship this year? And here's the thing. I think it's becoming very clear now after going into this year and kind of as we start to get ramped up into the peak of basketball season, I think it's very clear New York had some clear flaws that were not addressed nearly enough in the playoffs because they got hot. And despite that, they made a deep run, lost to Indiana, and now are in this position where I think they had more than they thought. They thought they were more complete than they were. And the reality is, with someone like Karl Anthony Towns struggling, with your other acquisitions like Bridges and Anunoby not being consistent enough and not playing up to a high standard at this point, and I get it, there's still a lot. Like, there's also still a lot of the season to go. Like, we still have, like, a good more than a third of the season left. But the reality is you're starting to get to a point where, like, I mean, listen, there's a I don't think it's going to happen, but there's a real chance that if the Knicks continue that struggle down the stretch, that they're a play-in team, which is not okay. And it begs the question, should they consider a Karl Anthony Towns trade? And I would make the argument that there's a real case for it, especially when you are one of the lowest defensive rated teams. When you consider that, and on top of that, guys like Yabusele, guys like Jordan Clarkson have not been nearly as much contributors as depth pieces as I think New York would have liked. And I think the weird thing is that Mike Brown chemistry players still aren't bought in yet. Like, I think to have a players meeting halfway through the year, sure, but since the NBA Cup, I mean, let's be honest, the team kind of slouched off a little bit and hasn't really played well defensively. I mean, that game against Dallas seemed to be kind of a major pinch point. It felt like a major pinch point for the New York Knicks. And if you're in this position now, you're going to tell me you're not going to be in this position down the road? I don't know what the ideal trade is for a Cat. I know everyone is basically going to turn down any trade that doesn't have someone like Giannis in it. But I think the reality is, listen, this team is not good enough defensively right now the way they're playing to win a championship, especially when you consider, like, they beat Boston. Remember this. They beat the Celtics, which was a shock. They beat Boston in those playoffs last year. That was a surprise. People were not expecting the Knicks to beat Boston. A lot of people had Boston in the series dominantly. So, and now you have Boston, who is still a number 2 seed with Jaylen Brown playing some incredible basketball, with the expectation they may get Jason Tatum back. The Pistons are still very much there as the 1. Raptors are slightly ahead of you. Cleveland has started to get their grind on, started to play well. Like, I would argue Donovan Mitchell, in my opinion, has had a better season than Jalen Brunson, which is why I was kind of shocked that Brunson was a starter over him, but that might just be because New York's a bigger market. I think if the reality is, I don't think this team in its current state is a championship team. And I think if it's not, and you're going to invest all of this into Brunson, into Cat, and all these trades to become a contender, to go get Mike Brown, move off Thibs, I mean, because right now, if you're asking Brunson, remember, Brunson took a team-friendly deal to try to make this work. Now, you're going to give Brunson another contract. It's like, you're going to need to shell out the dough. I don't think Brunson settles again, especially where they are in position, where they're positioned right now. Does it really make sense? I don't understand it. Mark is saying Cat for Bronny James in a second this year, a second next year, and a second a year after that. Go New York, go New York, go. Oh my gosh, Bronny James. I will give credit to Bronny. What's kind of crazy is that despite the fact that he's very clearly like going to be a bench player, and I think as much as I hate to hate, feels like will be a bench player the rest of his career. It's at least he's learning a little bit of defense. Because I remember at the start, he had no idea what he was doing. And now it kind of feels like he's at least starting to figure out a little bit so he can actually have meaningful minutes as opposed to just minutes that were solely based on his DNA. But right now, if I'm New York, I really don't know what kind of trade would be like a realistic trade. I saw something which kind of boggled my mind that people thought it was realistic. You give up Karl Anthony Towns to the Bucks, and you don't even get Giannis. You get, what was it? It was like a top 5 protected, followed by, it was like a top 5 protected, followed by Kyle Kuzma, followed by Miles Turner. The only part I liked about that was maybe like Miles Turner. And like I guess Milwaukee gets Cat to try to sneak into the play-in, but it feels, it's like, why? Like Miles Turner I get. You want a little bit of a better defensive presence while also not losing the ability to space the floor because at least Miles can shoot. But like what's Kuzma gonna do? Like where are we putting Kyle? You know, it feels like it, and like what's crazy? I think Kyle Kuzma hilariously is a perfect fit in New York just based on who we know him as. But I don't like basketball wise. I don't feel like it works. Oh my gosh, what's going on, you guys? What are you guys cooking up? You go out and sign, Jason, then you go out and sign the Wade kid, not the fruity one, but the failed basketball one, and Shaq's son. But would Shaq's son play with heart, though? Wow. He's just saying. Come on. It'll, you know what? Shaq will train him in the art of quippy one-liners. Like, he'll just train him to be funny. That's all you need. You just need him to be funny. That's it. That's all you'll need, and you'll be all set. All right. That was all. I just wanted to talk a little bit of Knicks basketball. I do, however, right now, and I'll give a little tipsy toes of my own prediction. I think right now, out of the West, you know what? I'm gonna say it. Give us a Pistons Spurs finals. I would love that because I kind of don't want to see the Thunder again. If I had to pick, obviously I would love to see the Suns win the whole thing, but they're not healthy right now, and they're kind of playing above their heads, so I don't think it's going to happen. But, like, I could see, like, having Wemby and Cade in the... I think Wade... Yeah, Wemby... I said Wade. I combined Wemby and Cade. Wemby and Cade would be very fun. A Wade Bowl. Let's get a Wade Bowl. I would want to see the Detroit Pistons against the San Antonio Spurs. I think that would be fun for me personally. But I don't know. You guys tell me. Or how about Pelicans Wizards? What a crazy one that would be. Trae Young leading the Wizards to a finals versus Zion Williamson. You know that someone's my league too. Like someone did a my league when those players like around 2021, and that was the outcome eventually this year. Was Pelicans Wizards. Like, the Wizards traded for Trae Young right away. It's like, let's go get him. Anyway, all right. Guys, right now we are staring at 8:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't have any bonus takes, but this is just kind of the closing out slide. I'm glad you guys are all here. If you enjoyed watching, make sure you drop a like. You make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're subscribed, and I hope you guys have all had a blessed time watching the show. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten all day. I'm a little tired. My feet hurt. I'm old. I'm washed. It's been a long day, but I greatly appreciate each and every one of you guys for tuning in. I'm going to probably go eat some food. And then I think Thursday should be the awards show. I'm going to go right now on the YouTube and post. Just let me know what awards you want me to give out, and I'll make those slides as well. Because obviously I'd have the regular awards, little bonus awards that I have, and then any awards you guys wanted to see me give out, I will give out. And that'll all be this coming Thursday. One Thursday. It'll be like a week early because the awards aren't until the next Thursday. But I will be sort of giving my own and then also kind of predicting. But I'll give who I think should be in, really. That's what we care about. We don't care about what actually happens because what actually happened is probably going to upset me. So there's that. I appreciate you guys. I hope you all have a blessed night. And I will see you guys Thursday for another episode of Free Refill. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Primetime. And I'll see you Thursday. Have a good night. It's like, what do they say? Good afternoon, good evening.